Coming up on News Live at 6, an organization discussing I-81, who they are, and why they're talking about the highway.
Plus, we spoke with students outside the Shine Student Center to talk about youth voting, see what they had to say about how college kids are looking to cast their ballots.
And it's happened again. Fall shooting reports at the Maxwell School. We'll tell you about DPS's response. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening and welcome to News Live at 6. I'm Ilana Epstein, filling in for Bradley Hoppenstein tonight.
And I'm Maddie Stelk. We're starting with the latest on campus tonight. DPS is investigating after another swatting incident took place in the Maxwell School. 9 patrol cars were dispatched to campus following the second 911 call in 24 hours. Our Tyler O'Donnell is here in studio to give us more details. Tyler, good evening.
Thank you, Maddie. Here's what we know. DPS received the first false report on Sunday night claiming there was a shooter in Maxwell and Eggers Hall. DPS was quickly dispatched to the scene alongside the Syracuse Police Department, where they were able to confirm the statement as false. Then, earlier today, another false report was made regarding the shooter in the same buildings. SPD and DPS were at the scene later, and they did confirm that the second report was false as well. Now, just over half an hour ago, DPS did release a new statement about these incidents, classifying them as swatting. According to the update, this is when someone intentionally makes a false shooting report, hoping to stoke fear among the community. DPS is currently working with local law enforcement to investigate these two situations further, and they'll also continue their increased patrols around the areas that have been swatted. They also reminded students that all information regarding a confirmed active threat on campus will be communicated through the Orange Alert system. CitrusTV will continue to cover the situation if any updates continue to occur. Maddie, Ilana, back to you.
And in the case of an actual emergency, an orange alert message will be sent to all Syracuse University and SUNY ESF students, faculty, and staff. DPS will conduct a test of this alert tomorrow afternoon at 1:55 p.m. It will be a full test of the system, which includes notifications sent to email, text message, and voice call. The test will also include the Orange Alert outdoor siren system that you heard earlier on the university's north and south campuses. The sirens will be activated for 2 minutes.
And happening right now on campus, a town hall discussion about I-81, going over the history of the highway and why the removal project is an important topic to the community. Our reporter, Cora Costa, is live at Lyman Hall right now to give us the details. Cora, why is this discussion being held today?
Well, Ilana, this comes 1 week after the state voted unanimously to tear down the viaduct on I-81. Right now, I'm joined with Connect 315 President Connor Murphy. Now, Connor, what exactly is your club?
So we're an RSO here at Syracuse University, and what we're focused on is connecting and bridging the gap between the Syracuse campus community and the greater Syracuse community at large to encourage discussion about pertinent issues for all of us.
And how exactly does that translate to I-81?
So we pick a topic every semester that's relevant to the community, and this semester, due to its relevance, we picked I-81 and the Community Grid project following. And we're really excited to talk about it this semester. We like to encourage students to not just be students in the community that's hosting their education, but to be citizens as well. And a mandate of that is being involved in the civic issues. And a lot of Syracuse University students, they haven't heard of this project. And we think that we as a community can really contribute to the conversation in a productive way.
Yeah, and do you think that way this contributes to the bridging between the university and the community?
Of course, yeah. We feel that, historically there's been a lot of distrust and a lot of tension between, the Syracuse University community and, greater Syracuse at large. And, we feel a lot of that is because of lack of conversation, lack of really making an attempt to, extend an olive branch and understand each other. And that's what we're trying to do with our organization.
Well, thank you so much, Connor. They will host another meeting in March talking about I-81 with a whole panel of officials. Reporting live in Lyman Hall, I'm Cora Costa, CitrusTV News.
Thanks so much, Cora. The Mark and Pearl Clements Internship Awards application closed tomorrow night. The awards are intended to enable SU students to create their own internship that they would not be able to do without financial help. The applications are open to SU juniors, seniors, and master's degree students. The awards range from $1,500 to $6,000. Students can apply through Handshake. For more information, you can check out the SU website.
And as we move into the cycle of the 2024 election, a new group of youths will be voting for the first time, many right here on this campus. Here to talk about the effects of youth voters on the polls is our own Harrison Calder in studio.
Good evening, Maddie. Voting is becoming a very important issue around the country with the 2024 election taking place in November. And along with that new process comes youth voters. I was able to interview a few Syracuse University students to ask about their thoughts on the election, how they're planning to use their vote, and if they're confident in who they're casting their vote for. Here's what they had to say.
Definitely want to get involved. I think it's important, whether you agree with any candidates or not. I think the process is important, especially in this country.
I always very like to watch and their debate videos, and because some candidates are really like to give some very interesting points and views.
I get a vote absentee before. This will actually be the first time I'll actually still need to vote absentee this year because I'm not in my home state anymore.
Happy to be a part of it, but it's definitely an interesting process, so I'm curious to see how it goes this year.
Right now I can have a lot of speech to the U.S. politics, but maybe 2028 I will participate in.
I'm definitely not confident in who I'm going to be voting for, and so far with the candidate choices that have been thrown out by the major political parties and independents,
Absolutely not. There are two candidates that will get any significant percentage of the vote. Both of them are over the age of 80. Both of them have shown signs of mental decline. I am terrified for what my country has in store.
The youth vote will be vital for this election as candidates look to get into an improvement of a 43% voting percentage of 18 to 29-year-olds in 2016. Maddie, Ilana, back to you.
Harrison, thank you. And now turning to the weather, we got a bit of a look outside on campus there. The jackets are back. I'm upset about it after coming off of this weekend.
Even looking at that, it looked sunny, but I walked outside today and it was snowing. The weather in Syracuse is so bipolar, I'm honestly not even surprised anymore.
No, I know. Honestly, that's what you can expect. It's just a roller coaster of temperatures. But here to tell us more is our weather anchor, Luke Radel. Luke, are we going to see more of that roller coaster of those temps, or is it going to even out and stay warm?
Maddie, I'm looking forward to sharing my 5-day forecast with you in a little bit. And Ilana, it's great to see you on the desk tonight for Bradley, but I didn't know where exactly he was until I watched the big game last night. And look, there he is right there with Taylor Swift and Ice Spice. Brad, we hope to see you again soon. Or should I say Bradley. Moving on, let's take a look at your temperature right now outside. This is the look outside my window, 36 degrees, wind gusts up to 10 miles an hour. Feels a little chillier, feels like 25 degrees out there. That's why you're seeing those jackets in the reporting from our friend Harrison Calder. And I have some bad news, guys. Snow is returning to the forecast soon enough. Now, will it be back tonight? It is hard to say. The forecast right now is about 50-50 as to whether we'll be getting snow before 9 a.m. Your sunrise time tomorrow is going to be around 7:05. And I know people are probably mad to see that snow is back in the forecast, almost as mad as Travis Kelce was last night at Andy Reid. But listen, I don't control the weather. I just tell you what it is. And this is our future radar right now, a nor'easter moving up from the south. It is expected, though, to stop a little bit short of Syracuse. Stay in that central PA there where some of our recruiters are from tonight. Welcome. There's going to be a nor'easter that's going to stay right in the south along those lines. So hopefully we won't get snow heading into tomorrow, but no promises for the rest of this week. I will have your full 5-day forecast for you guys, Maddie and Ilana, in just a few short minutes. I'm going to send it back over to you guys, though.
Luke, thank you, and I can empathize with Travis Kelce in that photo about the snow. But moving to the latest beyond the hill, a $3.7 million grant will be used to support youth mental health in Onondaga County. The grant is being used to support Onondaga County's Health Transitions Project. The project aims to support people ages 16 to 25 struggling with mental health. Over the next 5 years, the goal is to serve 300 youth.
Police are asking people for any information on a missing 24-year-old. The man's description is up on your screen. Devin Scott is a 5'6", 200-pound white male with brown hair and blue eyes. He was last seen Thursday afternoon by family members out in Lafayette wearing a dark green fleece pullover, black pants, and shoes with glasses and a short beard. If you have any information or sightings of Scott, you are asked to contact the Onondaga County Sheriff's Office or call 911.
And a Syracuse man is in the hospital after being stabbed yesterday morning. Police say a 37-year-old man was found with stab wounds on his left shoulder. He was taken to the hospital where he's being treated. The man is not in critical condition, and officials are unsure of whether the incident where the incident happened, and the investigation is still ongoing.
New York law will now require businesses to disclose additional credit card surcharges at the register. Businesses must post the total cost of goods or services with a credit card, including surcharges, before customer checkout. They can either display the total price with credit card surcharge or list separate prices for paying with a credit card versus cash. This law also requires the surcharge amount to be the exact amount charged by credit card companies. The new law will not apply to debit cards.
And New York is expanding curfew to around 3,600 migrants at 20 more shelters today. Migrants will no longer be able to leave or enter the shelters between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. City officials placed a curfew on 4 shelters last month. The City Hall says the curfew is being put in place for the health and safety of the migrants in the city's care. Migrants are able to leave and enter the shelter for work.
When we return, former President Donald Trump is back in court for hearings in his classified documents case. More on how he is denying doing anything wrong.
Plus, the race to replace George Santos is tomorrow. We'll tell you who's on the ballot right after this.
Women are bad with money.
That's what the world's been saying for centuries.
But now, we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses.
It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement.
So again, we say to that,
Save it. The falsehoods, the feelings of fault. Then the funds.
learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
Dad?
Just 1 minute, okay?
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Can birds draw pictures?
I don't have an answer for that.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
Welcome back to Live at 6. Former President Donald Trump is back in court for hearings in his classified documents case. Prosecutors allege that materials were taken from the White House at the end of the Trump presidency and stored in his Florida beach club, Mar-a-Lago. Further, they say Trump was uncooperative with authorities seeking to get the documents back.
Trump denies that he did anything wrong and has turned his court appearances into campaign stops. His campaign also highlights sensitive documents found in President Joe Biden's garage. A special counsel recently cleared Biden of any criminal wrongdoing.
And the race to replace controversial ex-Congressman George Santos ends tomorrow. Republican Mazi Phillip and Democrat Tom Suozzi are facing off for New York's 3rd congressional district seat.
The Long Island election has drawn national attention with a razor-thin margin in the House of Representatives. Republicans are hoping to hang on to this seat so they can pass their legislative priorities. Our Chillicothe Adele will have more on this race tonight at 7:30 on Talking Points. And to Washington now, where the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin is back in the hospital. He's facing complications after surgery for prostate cancer. The Pentagon says that Austin is dealing with emergent bladder issues from his recovery process.
In the meantime, Austin transferred his authorities to his deputy, Kathleen Hicks. He was criticized for initially not publicly disclosing the original surgery or hospitalization for several weeks. Moving to the latest in the Middle East, Israel is celebrating after 2 hostages taken by Hamas were rescued from the Rafah crossing early this morning. One of the hostages was 60 years old, while the other was 70.
The raid to rescue the 2 men killed dozens of Palestinians, according to local officials. The Guardian reports that just 3 Israeli hostages have been rescued by the IDF, which is less than the number of hostages killed in efforts to save them.
And when we return, I'll have a look at your temperatures across the region and your 5-day forecast. Stay with us.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
Welcome back to Live at 6. I'm Luke Radel. Let's take a zoom in here on our map and take a look at some of those temperatures across the region right now. 34 degrees out west in Rochester, 32 in Penn Yan, 35 degrees down in Ithaca, 34 in Binghamton, and 35 out in my hometown of Utica. Ilana, I didn't know if you knew that I'm from there. I know Maddie knows that already for sure. Let's take a look at our 5-day forecast right now. A high of 39 expected tomorrow. 21 degrees is our low. Now, like I said, we're not entirely sure whether or not we're going to be getting snow, but even if we do, it's not expected to accumulate on the ground. So because it is that warm outside above freezing, so it'll probably just fall to the ground and then melt for us, which would be very, very nice not to have that mucky snow out on the ground. Wednesday, our temperatures increase a little bit. We're going to be at 44 degrees, a low of 23. And then as we head into the rest of your weekend, we are expecting a possibility of some snow. Now, I know that that is bad news for everybody, but let's take a look at our tomorrow planner, 9 a.m., 31 degrees. Like I said, some snow possible when you head out onto campus. You're going to need a heavier jacket out there. 3 p.m. though, high of 38 degrees. And when you hang out with Caitlin Campbell tomorrow night on News Live at 6, it'll be around 33 degrees. Guys, I'm going to send it back over to you to talk about some Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, that's right, Luke. Buffalo Wild Wings is following through on their overtime promise by giving away free wings on February 26th. The company has had the same challenge since 2019, promising wings if the Super Bowl goes into OT. And because the 49ers and the Chiefs went into overtime, people can get 6 free boneless or traditional wings from 2 to 5 p.m. This offer is available for dine-in, person, or takeout only. Now, I mean, I don't really go to Buffalo Wild Wings that often, but I will be going 6 free boneless wings. That sounds amazing to me.
I love wings. I know we have wings outside of our studio right now that I'm
Yes.
going to get into later, and hopefully I can go in a couple weeks to also take advantage of this deal. I mean, come on.
And I was honestly shocked by going into overtime. It's crazy because it hasn't happened in a
No,
while.
oh my
but
gosh, it was. It was a slow start for sure at the beginning of the game, but honestly, like when it went into overtime and everything, it was a great way to end.
It definitely was. And I know Sam Reis, our sports guy, can definitely talk a little bit more about the Super Bowl.
That's right, Ilana. Super Bowl 58 did not disappoint in the slightest last night. Plus, here in the 315, Syracuse women's basketball squared off with Louisville in a top 25 showdown. That and much more is coming up next in sports.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to my house. Lately, not my happy place. Everybody's pretty tired of each other. The parents were not themselves. My little brothers were morphing into small creatures. The walls were closing in. Clearly, a case of too much family, too close, 24/7. And there's a lot of that going around right now. If this sounds like your house, try going someplace new. YourLifeYourVoice.org. You'll find lots of ideas to help you handle the family stresses of being confined to close quarters. YourLifeYourVoice.org. It might not get you out of the house, but it could help you find a little more breathing room.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
The second weekend in February means it's time for America's biggest game, and boy did Super Bowl 58 deliver last night. Welcome into sports. I'm Sam Reis, and we have to start things off with last night's matchup in Vegas between the Chiefs and 49ers. Let's get right into the highlights. This was the first touchdown of the game, late second quarter. A little bit of trickery. Brock Purdy across to Juwan Jennings, who fires it to Christian McCaffrey, who waltzes into the end zone. Then late in the third quarter, finally Kansas City getting into the end zone for the first time. Mahomes connecting with Valdez-Scantling. Late fourth quarter, Kansas City needing a field goal to force overtime. Harrison Butker does just that, 19-all. We go into overtime, and San Francisco gets the field goal to go. However, that means Kansas City with the touchdown wins the game. And of course, Mahomes finds McCole Hardman in the end zone. The longest game in Super Bowl history goes the way of the Chiefs as Kansas City takes down San Francisco 25-22 in epic fashion. That is 3 of the last 5 Super Bowls going the way of the Chiefs, and they win back-to-back titles. So sure, the Super Bowl highlighted yesterday's action in the world of sports, but there was another big game yesterday that occurred right here on the Hill as 23rd ranked Syracuse women's basketball battled 15th ranked Louisville. So we'll take you to the final moments of this one because that's when all of the drama took place. Syracuse trailing by 1. Deasia Fair fouled from behind by Olivia Cochran, but it's an intentional foul, meaning Fair gets 2 free throws and Syracuse gets possession. Of course, SU's leading scorer drills both of her shots at the charity stripe, and with just 2 seconds on the clock, Syracuse inbounds successfully, runs out the clock. The Orange win by a point. Another ranked victory for Syracuse as they improved to 20-4 on the season, and that was also SU's first win over Louisville since 2020. So while the women's team added to its list of signature wins this season, that's something the men's team has been lacking. On Saturday, Syracuse hosted Clemson in search for its second straight win. Of course, the Tigers coming to town also meant the return of Joe Girard to the Dome. Girard spent his previous 4 seasons with the Orange and led Syracuse in scoring last season. He was greeted by a mixture of boos and cheers from the Orange faithful, but he wasn't fazed one bit and led Clemson, as you see right there, with 18 points. He went 4 for 5 from 3 in a 77-68 victory for the Tigers. The Glens Falls native also notched his 2,000th career point in the late stages of this game. Clemson shot more than over 60% in this one, and the Orange were again dominated on the glass, losing that rebound battle 41-24. And finally, there was big offseason news for Syracuse football today. Pete Thamel of ESPN announced earlier today that SU's leading receiver, Damian Alford, has been dismissed from the team. The expectation is that Alford will graduate this spring and find a new destination for the 2024 season. There's now been 37 departures and 34 additions to SU's roster since the end of 2023. Guys, it's safe to say that Fran Brown, even though he took over just 3 months ago, he's been making a lot of moves, and I think a lot of people are excited around here for the football season already.
Absolutely. I definitely think so. And I will say, between the basketball and football teams, there has been a lot of movement. So how do you think this is going to affect next season?
Yeah, in terms of the football team, again, it might be only February right now, but I just mentioned the amount of departures and additions. So it's a lot of movement with a new head coach at the helm. I think there's a lot of optimism, and the schedule looking ahead to that down the road next fall is kind of favorable for the Orange. So I think Syracuse football is making the right moves.
Absolutely, and starting with 2 home games and ending with 2 home games, I think would be great for the Orange. Definitely. So we'll have to take a look. But when we come back, Luke Radel in studio with your Wake Up Weather. Stay with us.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
If you're buzzed and doing this, to make yourself feel okay to drive,
CWX.
you're not okay to drive.
YGKLVW. Regular you.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, baby.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to Live at 6. Let's take one last look at your 5-day forecast before we go. Temperatures, like you said, Maddie, on a little bit of a roller coaster. A high on Thursday with some possible snow on Thursday and Friday. But just how possible are those snow chances? Let's take a look at what we're expecting for those projected snow chances on Thursday. 40% chance of snow. Now, Sam, I don't know what the sports betting odds are on 40%, but that's, you know, pretty decent. 50-50 on Friday. So let's hope that we can avoid snow at all costs, and I'm going to bet the under, hopefully, on getting snow here in Syracuse this week.
I'm also going to bet the under as well.
Yeah,
I mean, snow chance, man, that was a great graphic. But
thank you.
Thank you so much, Luke. Last night was the 2024 Super Bowl game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. I know it was an important game, but I really would love to talk about Usher's halftime show performance. I know there were mixed reviews.
I have many thoughts.
What did you think?
So, where was Justin Bieber? That's what I was expecting.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes, I was his somebody to love. I just need somebody to love. Justin Bieber was his mentee, Usher's mentee, and I know everybody was expecting that. I have to say I was a little disappointed, but I did like the roller skates. as well in the
yeah,
show.
I did as well. I saw Justin early on in a photo. He was sitting in the stands. I was like, it's not going to happen. What did you think?
Sad.
I wasn't a huge fan, I'll be honest with you.
Really?
The halftime shows usually disappoint me, and it was the same story again this year. I'm always ready for them to get back to the
last
second
year?
half.
Did you not like
I
Rihanna's?
mean, it was fine, but again, I'm not huge into all the theater at half.
The roller skates were fun, I thought, and also
Yes.
like between Adam Levine taking off his shirt and Usher taking off his shirt, I feel like there were definitely favorites had by all, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
I definitely thought it definitely had its pros and cons, but I liked it. I did. So, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you tonight on Citrus TV.
Don't forget you can follow us on X and Instagram at Citrus TV News. Now for the entire Citrus TV News team, I'm Maddie Stelk.
And I'm Ilana Epstein. Have a great night, Syracuse.
Do I take off like my shirt now?